Dear Journal, this year marks my 9th year since I separated from the United States Air Force. In the year 2011, I rode the bus to a hotel that was nearest to the airport. It was the fall season turning into winter. The next day, I rode the bus to the airport to fly to Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio, Texas. Then, nighttime fell, and I remember being in line going downstairs to a bus with 50 other females. When I arrived at the facility for basic training, I remember the bus doors opening, and a female drill instructor with a round black gauze felt campaign hat bursts in and yells out,
"Get your butts down and grab your luggage. You have 20 minutes to get to your bed upstairs. Move, move, move."
We all grabbed our bags, ran out the bus, then ran upstairs to the dorm room. The beds were simple, with wool blankets and metal lockers against the wall, lined up with the bed in front. Some beds were bunkers, all lined up straight parallel to each other. Across the way was one big shower room with 10 shower heads and no curtains. My first week I was wearing jeans and a t-shirt with a canteen belt wrapped around my waist. Since it's been 9 years, I vaguely remember the other weeks. But I did receive my uniforms for marching and physical training, and saying the Airman's Creed every morning before exercising. I was also assigned with a mock M16 assault rifle to do night duties. By the 7th week, also called Beast Week, the whole squadron trained for a mock deployment. I slept on a cot, in a sleeping bag, with a trunk below my feet. At the end of the week, I remember, one of my female members fell and almost twisted her ankle. I went to help her because the trainees behind us kept moving forward. I couldn't stop to check if she twisted her ankle or not. Sooner or later, I graduated. The only pictures I have are from my graduation, taken by my dad. Military boot camp was a roller coaster ride, but I had fun. My drill sergeant, Tech Sergeant Spade, he said to me during the coin ceremony, "Stay strong, you'll be fine." I can never tell if I am being strong or not. But now that I have children, and they are both boys, I must be strong for them. In the year 2012, I remained in Lackland Air Force Base, because my second training for security forces was across my boot camp. All I did was walk to the other side of base with my duffel bag. The dorm building that I stayed in was called the jailhouse.
Warning, viewer discretion is advised.
I learned and handled more weapons: M4 carbine assault rifle, M9 Beretta, M249 machine gun, and the M240 machine gun. By the time graduation came again, I was assigned to go to Beale Air Force Base. There, I married my hubby and had Rico. As time passes and as 2012 rolled by, I was assigned to do the morning duty. The schedule I had were Panama 12Es, 3 days of work, off 2 days, 2 days of work, then off 3 days. The Panama 12 schedule did not last very long. As time passes, I remember clearly that every day I would wake up at 03003 a.m. just to be accountable for duty at 04004 a.m. because leadership changed it to 5 8-hour days instead, where an extra day comes in as a training day. Ultimately, it's a 48-hour work week for us. Time passed and I promoted from E3 Airman First Class to E4 Senior Airman. It was a difficult time because I got preoccupied studying for Staff Sergeant and for the yearly Security Forces stand eval tests that include written, verbal, and hands-on at the same time. One member asked me, "Did you do your Staff Sergeant testing yet?" Yes, I did, but at the same time I was studying for the Stan Eval. What? You should have told us to extend the Stan Eval and focus more on the Staff Sergeant testing. It was then, at that point, I thought to myself, I should have said something. But who would I go to? I had absolutely no one to rely on. I did not want to make any friends at all when I have my husband and child already. There was no point for me to have any friends. I think that was my mistake there. I didn't know what I was thinking at that time. At any rate, when 2014 came around, I was chosen to deploy to Kandahar Air Base, Afghanistan. There, I was tasked to be a flight line guard with members who was part of the same deployment group. This part can be sensitive information for me. When I arrived in Kandahar Air Base in October 2014, I wanted to be with the night shift crew because in the US it's daytime there, while in Afghanistan it's nighttime. My nights were 12-hour shifts for 3 nights and 1 night off at a constant flow. There was a time when my shift ended and I was with another airman. I had a mishap where I drove the MATV back to quarters. I was contacted by the captain informing me that a pilot called in saying that one of the MATVs did not stop for him. Yes, sir.
Who drove the MATV?
I did, sir.
Okay. Because the pilot called in saying that whoever drove the MATV did not stop for him.
That was when the mishaps started, one after the other. And being lectured that the airplanes have the right of way in the flight line. For the pilot mishap, I ended up getting a warning. As time went on, I was relieved I got a warning, but at the same time was disappointed in myself. Then, it was November. During the week of Thanksgiving 2014, I was posted with an airman that was in the same team that deployed with me. We were at the same post at the flight line. At the end of our shift, daylight came. I went in the hut to get my backpack ready, and suddenly, I felt something hard pushing on my head. I froze. All I heard was,
Where's our relief?
I couldn't speak at all. Because I was thinking, is it what I think it is? When I didn't feel anything on my head, that's when I turned and saw his pistol being holstered. When our relief came, I acted like nothing happened and went straight back to my dormitory. I couldn't sleep after the incident. I felt alone. I didn't know who to turn to. As December came and it was freezing below 20 degrees Fahrenheit, I was going to my post like normal. When I arrived there, both me and a different airman were in the hut to get away from the cold. The heater was on, and since I have not been sleeping well, I closed my eyes. In my mind, I kept thinking, I need to use the bathroom. I need to use the bathroom. Out of nowhere, the flight chiefs or supervisors came in the hut and saw me, supposedly with my eyes closed. When really, I heard them open the door, and I shot up with my eyes open. Technically, I wasn't asleep at all, just got startled when I heard the door open. So, of course, they had me write my rebuttal statement in hopes of getting away with it. At that time, it came so fast, and I was naive. After writing statement after statement from the flight chief and me, the verdict came to where I received an Article 15 and demoted to E3 Airman First Class. I got so burned out from all this mishap that I ended up saying I wanted to kill myself or want to commit to one of the sergeants. From there, I explained the situation about the incident that happened in the week of Thanksgiving. Then more mayhem happened. To the point where my weapons were taken away from me and expedited a plane ticket for me to go back to the US. November 2015, I was pregnant and had Ethan. When I arrived in the US, I had to be seen by a psychiatrist for some time to get back into normal duties. One day, the psychiatrist suggested me to take a personality test of 400 questions. When the results came, she deemed me to have a personality disorder. At that point, I was in the process of being rapidly discharged with honor administratively. For 5 years, now they deemed me unfit for the military. All my hard work, basic military training, technical training for security forces, and working 12s then 8s all down the drain, putting me in a position of having depression and anxiety of losing a job. I got back up to my feet when I moved back to my parents' place and went back to school. The plan of staying near my parents backfired because of conflicts between my dad and me. Hubby was still at Beale Air Force Base working as an automotive mechanic. After the conflicts, I decided to move back with Hubby by renting a house near his work. I applied for school immediately and was in the process of getting my military benefits. Now, I am here. I worked hard to get in the position I am at right now. I can dwell in the past, but I shouldn't let it overwhelm me. Even though at times, I do still think about it. However, not as bad, thanks to a medication to keep me from depression and anxiety. That was a lot to tell of how I served my military time. Fortunately, I am still here and waiting for a better future ahead of me. To all the military families out there, I know the pain. I lived through it my whole life, from when I was born until now. I am going to keep moving forward and to think positive to the best of my ability for my family's future, especially for my 2 boys.